Dan Snyder was caught interfering in the NFL's probe into the Washington football team, and it could spell disaster for the owner of the franchise. Washington football team owner Dan Snyder reportedly enlisted attorneys and private investigators to interfere with Beth Wilkerson, who is in charge of the probe and the allegations of workplace misconduct in the Washington football team. Basically, what happened here is Wilkinson attempted to interview employees, but Snyder's attorneys tried to prevent them by offering women additional money not to speak to her. This is part of that whole investigation. All those emails we were talking about earlier that got John Gruden fired, in part, this is all encompassed right here. So Dan Snyder was caught trying to basically, pay people off not to talk to the NFL's investigator, which should probably piss off the NFL and will probably piss off the NFL. Meanwhile, it was reported that private investigators hired by Snyder reportedly showed up uninvited at homes of several former employees and contacted their friends, relatives, according to these former players and employees and their attorneys. And it was determined by the NFL's investigation team that this was, to an extent, an act of interfering and an act of intimidation aimed at discouraging their former employees of participating in the investigation. So with all that out of the way, that's a lot, right? With all that out of the way, what does this show us about Dan Snyder? It shows us nothing new. I don't believe that Dan Snyder, in my opinion, is a person who would be above interfering in investigations like this. I don't believe that the NFL's investigative probe would have gone on without Dan Snyder interfering. That's my humble opinion. And I believe that Dan Snyder, this is serious for him. I truly believe that this is serious. Of all the things that the NFL and Dan Snyder have done, and specifically Dan Snyder, of all the things that he has done, I think this is the one that has landed him in the most hot water with the NFL. Because the NFL, look, they're a business. They don't care about the name. They don't care about they don't really care about, Dan Snyder and how terrible of an operational owner he is. They don't care about any of that. They care about money. And they care about their own reputation. By interfering in this probe, Dan Snyder has directly undermined the NFL. And the Shield does not play around with that. Roger Goodell does not play around with that. There's reason to believe that the NFL basically leaked the John Gruden emails because of John Gruden's opinion about the NFL. There is a lot that I think is going to happen from this. I genuinely believe if there's anything that is going to possibly bring down the ownership of Dan Snyder of the Washington football team, it could be this. Because this is damn serious. You don't mess with the Shield. You don't mess with Roger Goodell. You don't mess with these internal probes. And of course, is it a scummy thing to do to interfere and intimidate former employees who are going to be part of an investigation into your misconduct allegations? Obviously. And if you are ever in a situation where that happens, don't intimidate those employees. It's very simple. And it is indicative of everything that has been wrong with the Washington football team and how it's been run over the past 20 years. People knew the name was wrong. But what happened? Undermining of the efforts to change the name for years and decades. People knew that the team was a mess. Organizationally, and the way everything ran, it was a mess. All that was undermined for years. The operations of the entire football team were undermined for years. Ruining star quarterback after star quarterback after star quarterback, letting some people just walk. And the cherry on top is this. Because this is indicative of someone who genuinely believes they can do no wrong. This is indicative of someone who truly believes that they are above reproach. This is indicative of someone who has been finally caught in the act of, with his hand all the way in the cookie jar, trying to undermine the very league that gives him any credibility in the business world and in football. We would not be uttering Dan Snyder's name right now if it wasn't for him owning this football team. There's a lot that's going to happen, but if there's anything that's going to bring down the ownership of this football team from Dan Snyder, it is this. It should have happened a long time ago because he has been proven not to be a winner. He's been proven, like, how many playoff wins do the Washington football team have since he's owned? Pretty sure the Ravens have more Super Bowls since Dan Snyder's owned the Washington football team than the Washington football team has wins. That's bad, bro. That is bad. All right? So hopefully they can fix that. Hopefully this is the one thing that finally, by God, finally, that puts an end to just a tumultuous and pretty depressing era in this franchise's otherwise pretty illustrious history, unless you ignore, the first owner. What was his name? George Marshall Prescott? Yeah, we don't talk about him. That was somehow even worse. The parental, just hopefully the next person is a lot better. Thanks for watching this video from Real Take Sports Talk. Remember to like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Also remember to check out our live show every single Thursday at 8 p.m. right here on the YouTube channel. And remember, keep it real.